See this little metal arm right there? That's the problem. Hey gang, welcome back to the Joy of Wrenching. I'm your friendly neighborhood mechanic, and today we're in a 2015 Ford Explorer. This is going to be the same for 2011 through 2014 or 15 Ford Explorers and Ford Edge. And if your truck has got this problem where you shift it to park, but it keeps giving you an error message that the transmission's not in park, or the shift to park problem that you may have heard about. If your truck's got this problem, I'm going to show you how quick and easy that can be to fix, and we're going to do it for free. So come along and I'll show you all the steps and how to do it for free. So if you've got this problem where it keeps giving you the transmission not in park error, maybe your car doesn't even shut down overnight and it drains the battery, that can really be frustrating. So this is how we fix that problem. And if, by the way, if you don't want to fix that, but you just want to, kind of limp along, here's a quick fix that you can do. So look down here at this shifter. So you put this thing, when you put this thing in park, we'll go ahead and act like we're putting it in park. When you put this thing in park and you get an error message over here that says transmission not in park, it's not giving it right now because it's intermittent, and you'll find that oftentimes it's intermittent. But when you do, what you can do is take this little button right here and just flick it like this. See that? Just flick it a few times. And what will happen is there's some mechanism, and I'll show you that here in a second when we get inside there. There's a mechanism that will allow it to recognize that it's in park. And so that's just sort of a quick limp along way to get by until you do this fix. But after you see how easy this fix is, you're not going to limp along very long. You're just going to fix it. So what we've got to do is we got to get this center console up out of the way so that we can get to the guts of this shifter. Now don't worry, it's not as bad as it sounds. In order to do that, on these Explorers and Edges, you just need a little trim tool like this and a couple of little sockets. The first thing we need to do is get this plastic piece right here up and out of our way. Now it's kind of clipped in, and so you can get underneath it and just kind of twist, pop that thing up just like that. See, there's a gap there, right there. If you twist, you'll pop that thing up. Now be real careful with that, and as you pop that thing up, it'll release, and then you can kind of pull it back, and it allows you to get back here to our plug-in for our cigarette lighter, okay, or charging port these days. And then you just push this little tab right here, pull it apart. Now this you can set aside. Next thing we need to do is to remove this little screw right here. So now that this little plastic piece is out of the way, we can get this out, and that's a 7mm. You don't want to lose this screw. That's the only screw holding this console in. It's just clips from here on out. So we'll set that in here with all our money. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do is just start popping this console up. Now see, we're going to put our trim tool in between that gray and that black right there. And we can kind of pop that aside and then pop it up. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Just pop it up, and you'll see it kind of starts to release a little bit. Kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle. You can take your trim tool and just move down. Again, you just want to kind of rock it back and forth, popping that stuff up. There we go. There's a couple of little doohickeys hanging down in there that keep it into its there we go. There we go. You'll feel it release once you get it up and out of the way. There we go. All right. Now, I can't remove this all the way because there's some wires under here. Let's see if you can see down here. We've got a whole bunch of wires for the lighting and for the shifter and all kinds of things. And so we need to undo any of those wires that we can reach. And the first one I'm going to undo is right here in the shifter. Hopefully you guys can see that. And the tab that you want to push is kind of at a, I guess you would call it maybe a 2 o'clock position, 1 or 2 o'clock position. So sort of pointing towards the floorboard on the passenger side. And I'll show you where I'm pushing. I'm just pushing that little black tab right there, pulls straight down. That gives us just a little bit more freedom. And we need to lift this thing up a little bit further. Now the next part that we want to undo is going to be another cable down here. Let me see if I can get you down there to where you can see the point that we need to push. There's a little gray tab down in here. It's kind of a tight fit. There we go. You want to push that gray tab in and pull it apart. Just like that. And now that we've gotten the cables unplugged back here that we could get to, what I'm going to do is I've got the car in the on position, not running, but just in the on position. I've applied my emergency brake, and what we're going to do is push the brake, and we're going to shift this shifter back into, you know, somewhere back here. What that allows us to do is lift up on this whole console just enough to really get some access. And see that? Really gives us access. And where we're trying to get to, let me put some light down here on the subject. Where we're trying to get to, guys, is right in here. You see where I'm pointing my little pocket screwdriver? See this little metal arm right there? That's the problem. That little arm right there is what's causing us to have this problem where we can't shift the park. And so that little arm, that little metal arm gets bent. You see how it's bent up right here past that black plastic? It's bent up. Over time, this little tab that comes over there and shoots up in there to activate that micro switch will bend that little tab up. And what we need to do to fix this problem is bend that tab down so that when this little tab, this white tab, comes up to hit that micro switch, it'll apply more force on the micro switch and actually tell it that it's in park. Okay, so we see our problem. This little metal arm needs to be bent down. Now there's a couple of different ways we can do that. We can try and stick a screwdriver or something in there, but I'm going to try and do it so that you can see me do it. I've got a right angle sort of pair of needle nose here, and I'm going to see if I can't get in here and grab hold of that thing and kind of give it a bend down. I'm just trying to impart a little bit more of a bend so that that thing is coming down a little bit. I don't know if this is going to come through. I may have to get my fat fingers in your way so that you can't see for a second while I try to bend that tab down. I'm going to try my little pocket screwdriver here now. Just setting it on top of it, and I'm applying some pressure. All right, how's that look, guys? Is that, oh yeah, that looks a lot more straight or a lot further down. And I think now, watch what happens when I shift this thing back into park. That little white tab, you see it coming over there? Watch what happens. Well, it's in reverse. Watch what happens when I put it in park. If I can get it far enough forward here. Got to get the console back in its place. Sorry. Oh, you can't. We're not going to be able to watch it, are we? Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see it. See that, guys? See that white tab? When I put it in park, it jumps up in there and pushes that little micro switch. And that's what we're wanting it to do. That's what we're wanting it to do. And that's why we bent that little tab, that little metal part of the micro switch down. Now it's going to impart a lot more force pushing that up, and it'll quit giving us that transmission not in park problem. So that's the fix. You just got to bend that little metal tab down. Again, cheap, easy, free. We didn't even have to really remove this console. I probably could have got away without even unplugging a couple more things. But I just wanted to show you guys this thing, that little annoying problem. You can do this. It's not that big of a problem, and it doesn't take any time at all and no money. That's even better. That is a job done. So just like I showed you guys, this is super easy. They'll get rid of that annoying transmission not in park error message. And again, the best thing about it, it was free. So, you know, I love being able to help you guys with free, quick, and easy hacks and helps like this. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us to reach a greater audience. And I really appreciate you guys finding this video, taking the time to watch it. I hope it helped you out. Y'all have a wonderful day. God bless.